Oilers Live Podcast. Oilers Live Podcast.
Now, get ready to talk hockey. Streaming from the Oilers Live Studio. Subscribe or follow today.
Hey, it's Oilers Live for a Saturday night edition of the Old Guys. Also, well, I guess here in Atlantic Canada, it's Oilers game day, right?
Yep.
All right. We've got a full house tonight. We've got a special guest. In fact, the only special guest tonight.
My favorite guest.
Yeah. Well, I'm on here all the time, but we also have Josh, Tough Call Pod, who's our special guest tonight. He gets center stage. Patrick, Oilers fanatic, co-host Dash is back after a little hiatus, and Ryan.
K. Lotsberg.
Just K. Lotsberg.
too.
It just doesn't flow. It's Lotsy or Ryan Lotsberg, senior writer for HeavyHockey.com. We're here as we are going to be most every off night or game after or day after night, I guess, because once if the Oilers can make it to the second round, which we'll talk about tonight, then obviously the games get a little bit further in between. So we won't be going every off night. Welcome, guys. How you doing? How's everybody doing? Josh, how are you doing? We haven't seen you on here for a while.
I'm doing great. I see Angel's already in the chat taking shots at us. Everybody shows up.
Angel's back.
Oh, yeah.
That's
he was
why
back
I'm
last
here.
game. Back last game. Or back last episode. He said something. He's been working hard. He said he hasn't been able to tune in to his favorite Oilers show. No, Angel's here. Bob apparently said he was at a ball game. But he's tuned in.
He's on LTIR and he's now back, ready for chat one.
No.
Why are you beaking him? He's probably dedicated and watching us from the dugout, Michael.
Could
Give
be.
that. Just because you have a restraining order on the man doesn't mean you have to.
He is giving us views.
From the dugout. Playing out his minor league baseball dreams. Bob,
He's living a dream, all right. Yeah.
He is living the dream. Oh, geez. Guys, look. Take care. You know, Bob, if you haven't watched the show, I mean, Patrick spends most of his time in the chat. He's here. We got him.
It's called multitasking. Come on.
Yeah, it's all right. We're just happy you're on time today. It's all good. It's all good.
Now, when I got crap for that, were you not half an hour late for the last one before that episode?
Oh, jeez.
So if we're going to pick on people,
Nobody
I was
counts
like
that.
5 minutes late.
Hey.
Oh, I just got to delay the show a whole half hour because I'm going to be a little late. I don't know.
He was
After
he was
20
on before
minutes.
the show started, though. He was on before the show started, though.
After 20 minutes, does it not mean that you're just early for the next episode?
Patrick, I'd like to introduce you to Michael. If you're not early, you're late. Yver. Do as I say, not as I do. Yver.
That's right.
He goes by many names, multi-talented.
We got look, you know who made it called Jim Hiller. We're gonna get back on track here. Quaddy's on here.
Quaddy's got us back on track.
Quaddy's got us back on track. Love it. He goes, you know who made a tough call, Jim Hiller. I got sliding into my DMs, Angel, like he does after every playoff game that between the Oilers and the Kings. And sorry, I haven't responded to you, Angel, but let me read this. What a game. Hiller was your number one star tonight.
He's not
I'd
wrong.
agree with that.
Yeah, you are not wrong. Not wrong. We'll talk
Yeah,
about
we were talking about it before we came on the air. Like, it's the irony isn't lost on me that the most important timeout for the entire season for the Edmonton Oilers, given how much Knobloch hates calling timeouts, was actually called by the other coach. And since we're on the topic, you guys, like that might be the turning point of the season.
Serious.
Not kidding. No exaggeration. Like, that might be the turning point of the season. It got the power play going. It's got their confidence going, led to a win. It's probably the first mistake, really, really big mistake that the Kings made.
Yeah, I mean, the power play already had a doozy. They had, like, you know what I love about the power play last night?
13 seconds of it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was great. But this is, we go back, 2 years ago, Josh, when you did the video breaking down the Oilers power play. Remember that? And just how they, off the draw, the move to the middle of the zone, Draisaitl hitting the stick, right? Everything, all of that. Last night was a good example, though, of just good coaching and preparation when it came to the power play. Both their goals that they scored on the power play were planned. Like, they knew exactly what they were doing. Set plays. Yeah. Like, they saw something, they went out and did it. I did love, though, post-game, Bush is like very open about it. Yeah, we saw we saw this opportunity. We took it. We planned this. We knew what we were doing. And they asked the same question to Draisaitl in the dressing room. He's like, well, that's confidential. Like, Bush already gave it up. You planned it. But no, that's just, look, I love that. I love hearing when teams prepare appropriately. The Oilers did that. They're smart players when they play smart and they do smart things. And the reason I go back to that video you did, Josh, is when they're prepared like that, like, their power play is next level. Like, the guys these players are just too smart, right? Like, when you've got Draisaitl, Bouchard, McDavid, and Nuge, and whoever, it doesn't matter who else is on there. I mean, the other guy is purely just net front. Like, they're just so smart, and they can do that type of thing. And I love the adjustments that they made.
Well, everyone expects when that draw was won back to Bouchard, he drags to the middle, and then he usually throws it back towards the faceoff circle to either Nuge or McDavid, whoever happens to curl over to that left side. And the Kings just sort of parted because they're used to the cross seams, they're used to diagonals, and we just went straight up the gut, both sides. Off the draw, walk to the middle instead of passing it one way or the other. Just fire it at the net and see what happens.
I heard Bieksa post game say that when Gullickson came in and fixed the power play in Vancouver, the number one thing he said is when they were struggling, 3-pass max. So you cannot pass the puck more than 3 times before you have to shoot. And how many times have we been on this podcast talking about the Oilers trying to pass the puck into the net or be too cute or too perfect? And, what a perfect way to get out of the slump that they were in, or get the monkey off their back, if you will, right? Like, 13 seconds, 2 for 2 on the power play. Doesn't get any better than that. And it was kind of what Bieksa said, just like pass, bang.
You gotta love it.
Bouchard scores 3 power play goals all season. One of them was in an empty net. and he gets 2 last night. What a time to be alive.
All right. I mean, there's lots of us tonight. 5 of us, obviously. And good to have you back, Dash. And Josh, good to have you back. It's been a while. Let's it's always hard when there's more than 4. It's hard when there's 4 people to get everybody to get a voice and all that. But let's do an around the horn right now and just give your thoughts. We'll start with you, Patrick, and move clockwise around and just give your thoughts on the game. Like, give us maybe your it was a win, so give us a couple of things that you thought were great about the Oilers, and give us a couple of things that you thought were need some work or maybe challenges, and then pass the baton over to Ryan, and we'll go around and then we can discuss what everybody talked about.
Yeah, well, I love that we got the first goal last night. I think that was massive, getting out to that 2-0 lead. One of the negatives, of course, was not keeping that 2-0 lead, but I did like getting off to the hot start that they did, not giving up, taking advantage of the mistake that I want to say Vancouver, LA made with their coaching challenge there. I mean, we've seen a lot of times where the Oilers get an opportunity like that and they squander it. So getting that goal as quickly as they did, taking that lead, absolutely massive. Still got to work on the penalty kill a bit. The Oilers were 2 for 2, but they were also 0 for 2 on the penalty kill. So that still has to be something that has to be worked out. I thought they were a lot better on the penalty kill. Both of those goals for the Kings came late in the power play. So it's really just finishing off that 2 minutes and making sure that you're staying strong. But there was definitely some improvements there. Love the game from Evan Bouchard, getting a couple big goals there. I think it was obviously, well, as I joked about in my video, it's the best we've seen of Evander Kane, but we've only seen him twice. So you got a 50-50 chance of seeing a good game from Kane. What else did I like about Calvin Pickard? Better, but still a couple goals you don't like, especially that 4-3 goal where for Trevor Moore. Yeah, those are kind of my positives and negatives. What do you think, Lotzi?
And yeah, just to add on to what you're saying there, PK needs some work. Like they were better, but still got to get the job done. They didn't do that. As we were talking about earlier, we like the power play going 2 for 2 and doing it in 13 seconds. That was fun to see. Although I don't know if that's a sign that the power play is cured of all its ailments, right? They didn't get a chance to run through their system at all because they only had 13 seconds worth of power play time. Yeah, the Pickard goal, or the Trevor Moore goal, Pickard needed to be better on that one. He needed that save.
Way better.
And I need to take this opportunity to address something that I've been going on and on and on about most of the season. Evander Kane. He shut me up last night. That was a fantastic performance from Evander Kane. He had the play to Connor Brown on the 3-3 goal. It was a solid back check in the neutral zone, turns around, gets the puck, cuts it hard down the wing behind the net, feeds it to Brown, and he puts it home. And then the goal. He ties the game, gets to the front of the net, bangs it home. No goalie interference. Got his stick on it. Great job by Kane. And he's tied for second on the team in hits with 4, tied for 5 hits and 4 shots, which was also second on the team. So, yeah. So this is my public apology to Evander Kane. I was not familiar with your game, as Shaq once said. So I apologize for that. Yeah, that's all. I'll pass it over to Dash with that.
First, I know Kane's listening. He's a big fan of the show, and I'll probably get a DM from him later today, thanking you for the apology. It's good. That's very big of you, Ryan. I just want to say, very, very big of you.
I can admit when I'm wrong.
Yeah. Jeez, we don't have time for that show. All right, Dash.
Is there anybody else in your DMs?
Oh, they're all.
I just want to know, like Evander Kane, Angel. Has anyone ever seen Kane and Angel in the same room before?
No.
Okay. Good things.
Sorry, Dash, can I interrupt for 1 sec? Just because I know
Sure.
one of us will be really excited about this. Gabriel Landeskog just scored.
Yeah, nice.
Right on.
Good for him. Well,
Yeah.
speaking of Kane, that's the guy doesn't play hockey for almost 3 years. Steps into the Dallas Stars hockey club type of environment and can pull it off. Takes a pretty unique type of player. Or athlete, I guess, period, probably, just to be able to have that amount of time off and then to step in into the middle of the fastest playoffs in professional sports and the hardest cup to win in the entire world, and the hardest trophy to win in the entire world. And Kane just go and put up a G note and an assist and the 2 most important goals for the Oilers all year. So good on Landeskog as well. Yeah, I mean, the good things, these guys said it. I won't repeat it. Maybe I'll just add to it. I like who got going. Nuge getting that first goal, I think huge for Nuge. I'm rhyming now. Kane, again, those two big points. I didn't think it was just Kane, making a nice play to set up a goal and then getting a greasy one. I thought he was on the puck all night. I thought his possession numbers probably were good. I didn't look. It just the eye test was that he seemed to own the puck, and he was certainly owning the crease. And that's what we need him to do. So if he's banging home a couple of points in key moments, that's fantastic.
It checks out, Dash. I have natural stat trick up. It checks out.
I'm curious. What were his possession numbers or relative possession numbers?
I don't have relative up here, but Evander Kane 53.33, Corsi 4, 60% Fenwick, 57.14 shots for, goals for 2-1, 66.67, expected goals for 73.92. That's the big one.
That's why I asked it. You could just, that's it passes the eye test. I think and I really noticed that in Kane's game, almost night and day from game 2. So I thought that was great. Again, I'm talking about key players. So Nuge, Kane, getting Bouchard back going on the power play. We've talked to our blue in the face about Bouchard's hesitation on the power play all year, perhaps since he hit Hyman in the pills or the face or both. So I thought that was absolutely fantastic to get Bouchard going on the power play, and then maybe Connor Brown shaping up to be this year's Fernando Pisani so far. Really loved seeing a couple of gritty goals out of him. The bad for me, chicken or the egg, you guys. Is it the defense or is it the goaltending? I'd love to hear Josh's. I kind of left this till now on purpose because I'm very curious on Josh, my favorite guest of all time's opinion on this, because I just appreciate his opinions and his outlook and his perspective. That all said, the goalies need to give us a save. That's been a Skinner theme all year. Skinner giving us a save when we need it is another story. And I thought Pickard at least did that last night. 2 big saves late in the game. Came through when we needed him. Lotzi referred to it earlier, the Moore goal. That's ugly. That I'm not even sure that registered as a scoring chance, let alone a high danger chance, let alone a grade A chance. That just should not have gone in on a team that tough call coaches, let alone in the NHL. So you could say that our goaltending's been pretty piss poor, no matter who we put in there. The flip side of it is our defense is still very porous. We went out to try to get depth this year, and I don't know where all that depth is. Emerson looks maybe 80%, or perhaps a combination of 80% and a college player that is just a step behind and hasn't played this many games before. Wallman looks like he's about maybe 60%, 70%. I think Wallman's strength is his skating, and I'm having a hard time really picking that out right now. Ekholm, obviously a big one. The 3-4 injuries on the defense, and all of a sudden we're in a place where I just find we can't close gaps. We're getting absolutely worked in front of our own net. We're getting owned in the neutral zone. They're scoring at will off the rush. I'm not sure we can play like this for 7 games and still win. So I think that's the bad. Josh?
All right, I guess we're not going clockwise.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Host. Mr. Host, I thought we were getting asked the questions here. No, go ahead, Michael. Whatever. I kind of segued to Josh, but
yeah. No, you go ahead, Josh. I'll finish it up. I don't mind.
A lot of pressure here now. A lot of pressure, but I'm used to being the go-to guy, I guess.
That's right.
We just need the phrase is that I was saying over and over again. Just give me a save. Just a save. That's it. That's the whole key to this. The Oilers have better high danger chances, it seems. They have a lot of possession. They're playing very well, but the gaps they give up in our own end are terrible. But that's when you need the goalie to make a save they're not supposed to make, and we're barely getting saves that they are supposed to make. That was the scary part. I thought it was much better last night. I really do. And in the third period, like the first two games, I've been a big Skinner fan. I want to be supportive, but he was like swimming in the crease. Like everything was chaos. It was just a lot of panic when there didn't need to be any panic at all. And that was what was disconcerting. It's not like he's standing still and looking comfortable, and then a shot goes by him, and you're like, how'd that go in? He just doesn't look comfortable even. So at least Pickard was a little bit calm, and he did in the third period make the saves when we needed to. That was the key difference. Sometimes you're going to let in 4 or 5, but if you make the saves at the right moment, like someone said, it really goes a long way when you can trust the goalie to say, no matter what happened before, okay, the door's shut and all you have to do is go get the next one and I got this. And you can say, okay, let's just relax and play. So I thought that was a positive, the response in that kind of environment coming into the series, and knowing, it's a must-win game, really. And, he got it done. Now, we did put up 7 to get it, but, like, the things that needed to happen happened. You're not going to win games or a series unless your power play starts to score, and it did, and everything just worked out well. The other thing is the game of Kane played very well, very physical, and he brings things that only he can bring. Like that's why you get a guy like that for the playoffs. There's no one else can do what he does, and sometimes there's smart penalties, and he knows how to take them at the right moments to send a message or plant a seed in an opponent's head, or just shift the game so that there's a little more focus on things other than the Kings scoring and playing the way they've been playing up until that point. I thought he was very effective at that. And then, the Kemper, like if he didn't make that save off the skate, like if he just let it in, there wouldn't have been a rebound for Kane to get his stick on. So we're getting those puck bounces too. It's just been a lot of things that have been on the verge of coming. The metrics say we have higher Corsi, higher Fenwick overall in the series, that sort of thing. The metrics have to level out at some point, and thank God it did. And the last thing I have is for both teams, and in this playoffs in general, when you're watching the games, I don't know what it is about this year, but the buildings are electric, all of them. And I thought the Kings did the fans in LA did an amazing job. They were on Skinner when they needed to be. They never missed a beat, booing Nurse. They were in it. It was so fun to be a part of, like just watching playoff hockey as a fan. As an Oilers fan, it was terrible. But then to see that happen in Edmonton, that getting the crowd in it and letting the crowd stay in it instead of having a bit of a disastrous start and giving up 1 or 2 goals, it was critical that our crowd stayed in that game and kept that energy up. And I think that's been happening a lot in this playoffs. And it's I'm glad to see our building come alive like that and really support these guys instead of panicking. It's been great.
All great points, Josh. It is nice to have you back. Finally, somebody that I can relate to. Just kidding. No, look, I mean, you guys all said it. The PK's got to be better. I mean, that's number one. We'll start in the negative sides. PK's got to be better. With the team. Just consistency. Like, we talked about it a little bit, but Wallman can't whether you blame Skinner or not, or Pickard or not, Wallman can't let Moore by him 10 seconds after we just scored a goal. Like it just, that's like, you got to be prepared for that. Like, I don't know.
Our responses, like,
yeah, it just, that kind of thing just can't happen. I mean, you get up 2-0, like bury the game. Right. And that's what LA has been doing to the Oilers for the first 2 games, right? Like they got up early and they buried the game. The Oilers couldn't come back, right? I mean, they tried to, and they almost did. That's great. So positives. Oilers scoring more than 4 on Kemper is huge. Like that's just plain huge, right? I mean, we can talk about this forever and we'll see it differently. I thought Pickard played a great game. Uh I thought he made the saves when he needed to. And then yeah, I look at those. I've watched them multiple times. The Kempe goal, the Fiala goal, like those are tips, and where a guy's practically one-on-one with the goalie, and then a player comes in and gets a nice little tip. Like there's like Pickard's ready and set, and the guy's 5-6 feet out. Like that's lightning fast that puck changes direction. Uh, if Pickard was maybe 6 inches taller, he probably would have made those saves, but he's not. And those go in. The Doughty goal was through a maze of folks that I don't know how you get past that. The Moore goal, maybe he should have had that, but I would like to see that not be a chance to begin with.
There's
right?
no maybe. There's no maybe. You should have that.
But that shouldn't be a chance anyway, right? Like that's
chicken or the egg, right?
Yeah. So anyway, at the end of the game, like that's at the end of the day, he made the saves when he needed to, and he made some huge ones, right? To make that, like he scrambles 10 times better than Skinner. Right now, I find like watching Skinner go is like watching the game in slow motion. And Pickard at least seems to give us a chance and seems to it's not pretty. Every save he makes is not pretty. He made one where I didn't even know where the puck was anymore because he was flopping around like a fish. But he's still making the saves, and it's that's what I want to see. The guys that needed to score scored. Kane comes in, does some good things. There's a couple guys maybe still need to get going. Frederick, I'd love to see more out of him. We just haven't. And maybe he's not going to be in the lineup next. Who knows? We'll find out. But Kane, yeah, outstanding. Like he was doing everything he was supposed to do, and he didn't take any penalties for it, which is nice, right? Like, he wasn't doing. It wasn't like the game before. He settled down a little bit, and he's looking good. So, all those things being said, I thought, overall, I mean, how can you complain? Somebody put it in there in the chat. I didn't realize. I think it was Bob, our stats guy. Yeah, to take us back when Bob used to be a listener to the show, just a listener on the show. He was always the stats guy. I'd refer to him in the chat all the time. I'd say, "Hey, Bob, do you want to check out the stats?" I'd never talked to him in my life, and some days I kind of wish. Anyway,
I digress.
But Bob was always the stats guy. Anyway, Bob says Kemper's only had more than 4 goals scored on him twice in the whole season. Huge, right? Like, here we are sitting there. It feels a little bit like, while the Oilers are behind on the series,
there hasn't been
a lot more behind than that, and they've done actually pretty well, I think.
There hasn't been a goaltender that's played well in this series.
No, Kemper's made some pretty, I think, unbelievable.
Statistically, sure, not at all. I mean, sure, he made some timely saves. It's funny. Like I'm sitting here listening to this, and Tough Call Josh is talking about Skinner looking like he's battling and he's all over the place, and there's nothing consistent, and his positional play is erratic. And then Michael goes on and talks about Pickard, and he's scrappy and his positional play is erratic, and he seems like he's all over the place. Well, if the defense makes shots come from a predictable place, maybe the goalies don't need to be all over the place. Just saying.
I mean, defense, I think about that Doughty goal, right? Like that's defense can alter where that is. Even the Kempe and Fiala goals, like guys are a step behind there, and then they put their stick in the way, right? To deflect. I mean, I can, I can hear Pickard screaming in his head. Like that's like he's got to be so pissed off that it's even it even happened that way. But if you're a step behind, then at least let the goalie make the save, right? And I mean, one of those is McDavid. He's done his he's earned a pass on that one, but the rest of them, right? Like that,
I brought it up. Josh brought it up. It's gap control. Like I think they're owning. It's partly because they're owning the neutral zone. It's partly because they're coming in with speed. Yeah, I don't know. Like they've got the reason those guys have so much time is because our players are just backing off.
Yeah.
We did see though.
Oh,
Kemper give up.
Josh, we can't hear you right now. Or I can't hear you.
No, I can't either.
All
That's
right.
better.
Yeah.
What about now?
Yeah.
Anything?
No, you're good now.
So we saw Kemper make saves on plays that were similar. I think there was 2 or 3 in the chat we picked out. It's like we saw a goal go in like that on Skinner, and Kemper made the save. There was one of bounce off the backboards, and Skinner didn't get over in time, and they put it in. And Kemper got over in time last night, and they saved it. There was 2 or 3 in the chat. I can't remember exactly which. That it's like it was almost like a carbon copy of the play they had, and it went in, and it didn't for us. He just looks a lot more comfortable. I feel like we have to beat Kemper more so than just put it on the net, you know?
Yeah, I just think I think it's LA making it more predictable for their goalie too. Like that is really a big part of it. Like the biggest thing that I still even notice in Game 3 after a win is defending off the rush. We're just allowing easy entries. We're not holding the blue line. We need to do what LA is doing to us.
Here's and a couple of the other guys, Lotzi, Patrick, you want to chime in, feel free. But the Oilers, we've talked about this year over year, right? Like, teams adjust to the playoffs. Like they make their team playoff ready. The Oilers don't have that style of play to play with the officiating that happens in the playoffs. Like I'm watching, I remember one time just watching Fogle with his arm draped over Connor McDavid, and it's not a call. And you know what? It's the playoffs. It's not going to be a call all playoffs because it wasn't egregious enough, but it was there. It should be a call in the regular season. Be a call any moment, right? But that kind of play does not fit well with the way the Oilers play. And frankly, they just have to adjust. Like there's, it's like, we can complain as fans all we want, but every team in the league is up against the same thing, right? And so either the Oilers change the way they play, or they're, this same thing's going to happen all like for this whole series, and they'll be watching from the sidelines.
Yep.
I would say like the Kings are playing a lot more connected, like especially in the neutral zone. Like they've made it hard on the Oilers, especially in games 1 and 2. I thought the Oilers did a better job of getting through with speed in Game 3, whether they passed the puck through the neutral zone and got it through there quickly, or if they had a few more opportunities to skate it up. And yeah, as far as rush defense goes, like a lot of the goals the Kings have scored have kind of been rushing in on the wing, essentially, right? Like kind of just not quite inside the dots, just a little outside the dots, but still pretty close to the middle, and they're getting clean looks from there, and a lot of them have got in. And I agree with Michael. Like I thought the Kempe and Fiala shots were tipped, and it's like right at the point of release, essentially. So like your eyes are expecting one thing, and then something else happens, and it happens too quickly to react in time. Like I think those are tough saves for Pickard, but Skinner had to make a couple of those saves too. But regardless, it's the Oilers have had a little bit of difficulty defending off the rush, and I kind of figured that would be a thing in this series, just because the Kings aren't playing that 1-3-1 anymore, right? They're playing more of a standard 1-2-2, and they're just taking the leash off. Like they're just allowing their players to be a little more aggressive on the forecheck.
It's almost like a
It's worked.
1-4 instead of a 1-2-2. It's almost like a 1-4. Like they're just lining up like that. That neutral zone you talk about, and I brought up as well, Ryan. It's like it goes both ways. They're owning us offensively and defensively, and I think that on the offensive side of the puck, we're not stepping up in our gaps, and we're not owning the blue line or holding the blue line. I feel like they're attacking the non-Kulak side all the time because Kulak actually is probably our best defender when it comes to closing the gap. But LA, I think Jackie said it in our private chat last night, LA is entering the zone like those little pick plays. They're entering the zone with deception. And the Oilers are having a hard time picking up that deception when they're entering. And then on the flip side of the puck, to Lotzie's point, is that they're stepping up on us so aggressively that they're forcing the Oilers to dump it in. And that's just not a comfortable place for the Edmonton Oilers to start trying to have to dump and chase, especially when it's Doughty and Mikey Anderson and Edmondson and guys like that are retrieving.
And I think the reason for that, well, I think there's a couple of reasons for that. One, and I mean, some of our guys are still a little injured, right? Like Wallman's clearly not 100%, although I thought he looked better last game than he did in game 2. But it's just there's just too big of a disconnect between the forwards and the defense on the way back, right? Like if I'm playing in defense and I'm thinking, okay, I want to hold the blue line. If I make a move and charge and I get beat, I don't have any forwards coming back to help me in case I do get beat. I don't think I'm making that play, right? Like I'm more likely to sit back and be cautious and give up the blue line if I don't see forwards coming back hard and in the right time, right? Like in time, right? So maybe it's that good old reliable high F3 that the Oilers just haven't had consistently in this series. But something like that is going to have to happen if they're going to gain control over the neutral zone.
We need to take a page out of the Panthers book, right? Like that famous quote that Paul Maurice got recorded saying on the bench there, like just keep going in and pounding the defense, pound their defense until they just can't stop looking over their shoulder. They're scared, and at the end of Game 7, you've wore them out. Angel, our favorite LA fans back in the chat, when Kopi and Doughty lead in ice time, we have a problem. They can't keep up with Dry and McJesus. Well, hopefully we can keep pounding Doughty and keep pounding those guys. And by the time we get to games 5, 6, and 7, it looks a little different than it is right now. But I don't. That all said, curious what Josh thinks as well. But like, I don't think the Kings are intimidated by the Oilers whatsoever. Like, not whatsoever. I think it was proved at the end of Game 2, and the Oilers were going after Byfield, taking penalties on Byfield. And who does Hiller put out at the end of the game to close it off? Byfield. No fear whatsoever.
I'd say, though, we're talking playoff hockey now, and nobody's intimidated by anybody. Maybe the Canadians a little bit by the the Caps, really, given the size difference. But by this time, I mean, these guys know each other. There's got to be a little bit of intimidation when it comes to McDavid, especially after the show he put up in Game 1. But outside of that, I mean, these guys, Doughty could give a shit. Like he's just out there. He's going to play his game, and and he loves it. Like a guy like Doughty, he loves it. There's no intimidation there. He just loves it.
Are you talking right? about Doughty, or are you talking about the Kings? Because saying intimidation isn't a thing is borderline ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't think it is at this level. I'd be hard pressed to think that the Kings have any intimidation against the Oilers. They played them all season long. They played well against them. They've had a good game. There might be, you got a guy like Connor McDavid on the other side. You're going to be, I don't know if intimidation is the right word, but you're going to watch them. But no,
I think Dash is talking about more like physical intimidation. Like the Kings aren't scared of anybody in the Oilers hurting them. Like the one thing I'd say to that is I think the Oilers have noticeably ramped up their physical play. Like Podkolzin with 7 hits, you got Kane back in the lineup with 5. Hyman laid out a couple guys, like he laid out Fiala before the comeback started, and I think I can't remember who it was at the point that Hyman laid out before he got the assist on McDavid's empty net goal. But like, there's been an increase, like a noticeable increase in the Oilers' physicality. But I also kind of agree with Michael in saying that I don't think these NHLers are super intimidated. Like Ryan Reeves skating around out there, or
Are you guys
from
nuts?
New York, Rempe.
I couldn't
Like,
disagree more. I could not
if it was-
disagree
if-
more.
If it's
What the
meaningful,
hell,
I'd be
guys? What
intimidated
sport
by
are
these
you
guys.
watching?
But
Intimidation doesn't matter. What sport are you watching?
Not saying it
kidding me?
doesn't
no, I'm not
matter.
saying
I'm just
intimidation
saying-
doesn't matter, Dash. I'm just saying I don't think these guys get as intimidated as easily as you're thinking they do.
Go back and watch the St. Louis Blues Stanley Cup run when they won a cup. They absolutely bullied every team for 4 rounds.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen.
It
does
matters.
happen, but it's not.
Doughty's
happening
not
here either
intimidated?
way. There's not. Neither of them are.
I don't
Like,
think
there's-
the Oilers
there's
are
very few
intimidated.
teams that intimidate anybody anymore in this league, and like you got maybe the Caps over the Canadians is the biggest size difference in any series right now, but
The Oilers aren't intimidating anybody, but intimidation is absolutely a factor and important. Please back me up, Josh.
I mean, unless I'm looking at the wrong stats, I think the Oilers have a pretty big advantage in high danger chances overall in this series. And like they have McDavid, they have Draisaitl, they have that lethal power play. I don't care if the power play hasn't been lethal this year. It can turn on at any moment. And to have that in the back of your mind at all times, that if you take even a second off, there's a little bit of a here we go again kind of mentality. I think that would come off. I think that's a bit of
I
intimidation.
accept that.
I think
Absolutely.
this game was huge for us, like getting some of the monkeys off the back and feeling that little bit of swagger that we talked about in the chat.
The Oilers got to be
Matthew can
feeling that
pick the
for
mighty
against the Kings power play too, right? Like they, yeah.
Matthew
Right.
Tkachuk is one of the scrappiest, toughest players in the league. And when the Oilers played the Flames last time, whatever Evander Kane said to Tkachuk shut him down for the rest of the series.
Look, that kind of intimidation only goes so far. I played against big guys in my life. I'm a smaller guy, and I just laugh at those guys. That's their only thing. If that's all they bring to the table, then I've already.
I didn't say that's all they brought. It's like, look at
no
St. Louis.
The good
it's
thing
O'Reilly, and
right. When your top players, like the highly skilled ones, also have that grit and that edge, that's the kind of grit and physicality that you want. It can't just be only about intimidation. It'll be, I could just go in and skate around you, but I'm also just going to skate over top of you just because I can. And what are you going to do about it while I skate around you? You know, it's that kind of go through a person instead of around them. And I don't know, like, the problem is that we're seeing that from LA this year too. That's the problem.
Mhm.
Like LA is playing like they're like 2 feet
Mhm.
taller than they have been
And it
any other
matters.
year. And
That matters.
think
It's not
that-
intimidation. That's just playing hard hockey. This,
Michael, you're crazy.
like
I mean-
you play hard hockey and you play well, you're going to win a series. It's not because you intimidated the team. It's because you knocked them off the puck, because you won puck battles. That's not
It's
intimidation.
because
That's just really
intimidation is looking over
bloody
your
hockey.
shoulder in extra time. Intimidation is being
you got
hesitant
that,
in the
for
corners.
sure.
Intimidation is not being as aggressive in faceoffs. Intimidation
Please.
is
This series, it's not going either way, right?
Like you can get beat up physically. Like you can take the abuse and be bullied, as you're saying the Blues did in 2019. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're intimidated by it. Like just because you lose a physical battle doesn't mean that you're intimidated. All right, like I'm not saying
you
physicality
are when
doesn't
it's
matter.
happened for 60 minutes a game.
Josh,
for
you're
six
taking
straight
this
games.
as like everything doesn't, like it all applies to this one topic here. But yeah, intimidation will matter over the course of time. Like you're right. Like if a guy, they talked about it even the other day, like every hit you give is like banking, a little bit extra down the line, right? Like those things matter for sure, they do. But when you're talking these like these guys going into a series right now, and especially early on in the series, they're just this is what these guys play their whole life doing, right? Like they, if they're scared at this stage, right? There's, I don't know what to tell you. They're just not.
Read Jeff's
Right.
last comment.
I don't care what Jeff says. Like,
I feel like, this is going to come up more in the next, say, 2 games from now.
that could be. Yeah.
If there is 2 games from now, I think that's what happened to the Rangers last year against Florida. They were in control of that series. Florida just kept going over. They would literally skate over top of the puck to hit a player and then take the puck from them instead of just going for the puck first. And over the 7 games, that's what turned that tide, I think. Boston and St. Louis, you're talking about that St. Louis year. They played Boston in the final, and both of those, that just greasy, just annoying, dirty, like straight plain dirty hockey all the way to the finals. And then that was like the finals. 2 players were suspended in game 1. That's how much of a bullying fest that finals was, right? Like I think this playoffs overall in general has been a lot of really good, dare I say, heavy hockey. A lot.
Dun, dun,
Like,
dun.
and our
There it is.
series is no different. Like, there's a lot of little physicality that you don't see. I think a lot of other teams are playing with a more overall speed and overall just trying to finish anything that moves. Whereas our series seems a little more between LA and Edmonton. There's a little less room, maybe it feels like. It's a little more tactical. It's a little like a lot of these pick plays and all that. So it's just that kind of irritating frustration more so than getting banged up until the Oilers coming out with their physicality, I think, in game 3. I don't feel like our players have been really hit that hard. It's just been a nuisance or an annoyance more so than a fear. And I think the Oilers, out of each of these teams, I think the Oilers do have the most likelihood of creating that intimidation throughout the series as it goes.
Yep.
That's a good point. They, one of the things that, you'll take anytime you got that, right, is at the end of any series, right? If you're nailing guys, doing all those things, and it's even in the, we're talking about it, like softening guys up, right? Like you're going to hurt them, that's less about like any type of intimidation. It's more about like you're injuring those guys. Every hit they take, a number of shots to the body, and then you go to the head, right? Like that's the kind of stuff you want, right? Like you want a guy by game 7 to know that he played you in hockey, right? Like you want him to know what it's like to get hit by you. And that's what they're looking to do. That's the right. Like, that's why Stanley Cup playoffs are so much fun. Right. It's funny. I was thinking about this tonight as I'm watching some of the other series is, I get pissed off every year at the officiating, but on the same token, like that's part of what I love about it. Like it's, watching everybody play extra hard, all the hits, all of the things. So I don't know where I honestly stand. Like I hate it. I want to see them call the same year over year, but then at the same time, I'm like, yeah, like I love that hit. I love this. I love that. And who knows? I mean, I guess if they called everything, it would be a different game in the playoffs, and maybe I wouldn't enjoy the product as much. It's hard to say because I'll tell you one thing: year over year in the playoffs, they're still consistent. They're not consistent versus the regular season, but they've called the playoffs the same year over year, and that much we know. When the playoffs happen, it's a different game, and I'm here for it. It's one of the times of the year that I love watching other teams play that don't have the Oilers logo on their jersey.
That's something
All
I
right,
always say.
Patrick,
to people.
wake up, buddy. Wake up. How you doing there?
I'm good.
I see the hamster wheel turning. You got lots to say. I know you do because you're always in on everything. Your thoughts on this, Patrick? You've been quiet.
Well, I think Josh made the point too. The Kings were getting under the Oilers' skin. Like that was kind of how they were doing their intimidation. They were drawing them into stupid penalties that they shouldn't be taking, and that was part of the reason they were able to turn things around in Game 3. They only took 2 penalties throughout the game. I think the other games were probably 5-6. I can't remember the exact total off the top of my head, but they were getting in the box, and the Kings are red hot in the power play. So every time the Oilers were taking a stupid penalty, they were falling further and further behind. So I think that's part of why the tide has turned, and that was, I think, their biggest intimidation factor for the Kings was they had the red hot power play, and they were goading the Oilers into taking dumb penalties, and that was basically how, well, not the whole way, but one of the big ways that they were taking over those games.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be said about that, right? Like, we haven't talked about that. Just if you don't have a PK, stay out of the bloody box, right? Like, don't take stupid penalties, and at least read the room, understand what the officials are calling or aren't calling, and I don't think the Oilers have done a great job of that going through 3 games. All right.
I just looked up scoring chances off the rush for the series. It's 28-12 for the Kings.
Is that good?
It's good for the Kings.
Yeah, I think that's one story of the series, and then the other is special teams.
Yeah, for sure.
The tables have turned. You can't see my hand gesture. The tables have turned.
I mean, the personnel has turned. Anybody want to guess the top 3 average time on ice on the PK in last year's playoffs for the Oilers? Top 3 players, the highest average time on ice.
I'm sure McLeod and Fogle are 2 of them.
Cody Ceci?
Yeah. And the other 2 are Desharnais and Ekholm.
Oh, okay.
And in fact, Desharnais was the first. So, like that PK, I mean, I think Bob said it in the chat. I was shocked when I read that. Our penalty kill had 4 power play goals against the entire playoffs in 25 games last postseason. And we had 5 in the first 2 games and 7 after 3. LA didn't even score a power play goal last postseason. And they've got 7 in the first 3 games. I don't know. I hear all your guys' opinions all the time, so I just kind of keep going back to Josh because I want to hear what he has to say, especially from that coach's mentality and that smart coaching brain you have that we all admire in the private chat all the time. I see some pretty glaring differences in the PK when I watch. I think I've said earlier, not forcing enough, allowing easy entry for LA. We need to do what LA is doing and really hold that blue line. Again, defending off the rush, giving them too much time, not gaps, but lack of support on the face-offs, I've found has been a bit of a problem. And maybe is it just not having a plan on the face-offs? But to me, Nuge and Henrique don't seem to be clicking. I don't know what it is. Josh, what are you seeing when you watch that PK?
They're being spread out too much, for one. There's too much of a distance between defenders. One person's getting sucked out really far, and it just opens up too many passing lanes. And unfortunately, it's not like they've been drawing us into it, right? Someone just drifts away. It's not like they've had to make these spectacular passes, and eventually you just get fed up with passes and you take a chance. It's if one person goes, then someone else has to go as well, and only one is going a lot, and it's too wide open. They don't seem to be in sync and moving with each other. It's just sort of one player defending and then the next player defending, right? As far as faceoffs go, it's been a mental struggle for a lot of people, I think. Like, It doesn't matter what your job is. Do something. Move. We haven't seen any of those real battles at a hash mark where
anything but just standing there.
Like, just if anything, stop your guy from going somewhere. there's never been that one where the official has to wait 20 minutes to drop the puck because there's two players that just refuse to give up that half inch between the hash marks, and they're going to fight to the death for it. It's just like, well, whatever. Drop the puck and then see what happens, you know?
This is a good segue into something, though, that somebody talked about in the chat, which is, I think it's actually, I view it a different way. They said basically the Kings are playing 3 lines and
Mhm.
4, maybe 5D.
Mhm.
To me, that talks more about how deep this team is, like in terms of actual skill level. Like those, all the players that are out there, they're capable of playing the minutes they're playing, in that 16 to 20 minute range. That they have 3 lines that you can trust out there like that with that kind of minutes is amazing, and they've been able to, right, and they've been able to take those players and just come at you, like, whereas the Oilers have 2 lines, sometimes 1, right, that has that same consistency, and like the Kings have been they've got the advantage. They came in uninjured, right, gelling from the start. Like this team the Kings team is a well-oiled machine at this point.
Mhm.
Like there's no, we don't talk about, what line you're going to see next game when you're talking about the Kings. Like, who's coming out, right? Who's playing with who. These guys are so comfortable with each other, and they're out there all the time, and they're all getting good
Mhm.
minutes. In fact, if you got a third line forward set that can play 15 minutes and they're engaged and they're active, like they're in the game, like how great is that? Send those guys. In fact, like you send those guys out like Trevor Lewis for 3 minutes just to give everybody else a little bit of a rest and start rolling those 3 lines again and just do it, right? Like that's what they've been doing, and it's crazy. Like it doesn't matter who's out there for the Kings. Like they just look good. Yeah, and I
I
don't
think
know how that hair is not slowing Fogel down, but he seems to be doing all right.
I think part of that is coaching, Michael. Like that's one of almost the biggest things that I notice in your grandma's Kings from the 3 years prior versus this version is I can definitely notice how Todd McClellan coaches versus Hiller, and I think like the systems are the almost the difference right now. And I think like the Oilers have a tendency to play on the perimeter as it is, leading the league in shots on goal and perimeter shots on goal for almost the entire season. But yet LA has this really unique ability to keep other teams out of the middle of the ice. And that combination is almost it's lulling the Oilers to sleep at times.
Yeah.
There's I love Josh. Your video is blurry today, and your audio is lagging, and a couple of seconds later, you're in agreement, and I love it. But it's just making me laugh too at the same time. It's all good. I mean, you're in the middle of somewhere in Nova Scotia right now. I know it's raining here like mad. You're probably getting all the wind and the rain there, so it's probably affecting the Wi-Fi. But hey, you're a top liner on Heavy Hockey. We love having you. We'll put up with it tonight. Patrick, on the other hand, like this is the most quiet I've ever seen you, Patrick. It's crazy.
I haven't heard. Oh, go ahead.
You finally speak and I interrupt you. That's about as rude as it gets. I feel like you're deep into a game of online poker here at the same time.
That's right.
I haven't got to listen to Dash's thoughts for a couple weeks, so I was kind of listening to what he was saying.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. We've already been at this for an hour. It goes by fast when you got 5 folks on. We're going to push onwards to the next segment. Then we're going to call it a night because we got another game. For those of us in Atlantic Canada, it's tonight. And those of you in Western Canada, it's game day tomorrow. but an exciting one, game 4. Just a quick recap on what's happened tonight, right? Ottawa, Toronto. Ottawa scores in overtime to extend that series to a 5th game. So no sweeps in the first round. That's big. I mean, a sweep is a big deal. It's hard to do. But that's I'm watching that series. I've been watching it pretty intently. And reminds me a little bit of when Edmonton got swept a few years back, how all the games went to overtime. It's like a closer series than 3-1 indicates. It could go either way. Toronto, I think, is obviously the better team, but it's been a good series, and I haven't minded that. Golden Knights on the verge of going down 3-1, and they score 2 games. So that one's 2 games to 2 and tied. I was thinking to myself as they went into overtime, and I thought I was sure Minnesota was going to win that game tonight. And I'm watching it, and I'm thinking, this is why they play the games, right? Because I would have told you that Vegas would walk all over them, and that's what I was thinking. I'm like, this is why they play the games, and Minnesota's going to win this series. And 2 seconds later, Vegas scores, and the series is tied. How important is that game 4? All right, Dash, you are up. Oh, and the Lightning come back. That one's like home team is at a loss on that one. Weird. That one's a weird series to me, but exciting. Dash, take it away for the final segment. We got
All right.
a little under 30 minutes.
All right, let's do that. Get to everybody's favorite part of Oilers Live. And that is the segment we Call Me Crazy. I only got a few of them for tonight. Probably try to leave at least 5 or 10 minutes to get into some maybe predictions and keys to the game 4. Yeah. So, where should we start? Let's do this. We talked this about a little, and it's been brought up a few times. I feel like the timeout and the challenge was absolutely nuts. I'm still head scratching it. Now, maybe throughout your guys' answers, you can explain to me how the rules in the NHL work. Josh, you're a coach. You've probably been in this exact situation. In my history of playing hockey, in my history of hockey, when someone scores a goal and the refs go and have a little huddle and they talk about what happened in that particular play, and then they decide whether they want to keep the goal or the play they called on the ice or go against it. Is goalie interference not part of that conversation? Like they were already trying to figure out if it was a good goal, whether it went off the skate or whatever, it went off the stick. They have a little review, it's just like the umpires in baseball. They all go talk about it, and if one guy says, "No, I think you went around. You should be out," they don't just ignore that. Whatever. We'll just call this anyways. The fact that they challenged that when I thought that it was kind of already reviewed was just as nuts as the fact that I don't know what they were even challenging. Kopitar was all over Kane there, which I also found hilarious because Kopitar was the one crying that Draisaitl was all over him on the previous power play goal. But anyways, all right. Weird timeout, weird challenge. I think it's kind of set the momentum for the series. It's changed the momentum. It's got our power play going. Call me crazy, but I think that challenge might have just cost LA the series. Josh?
I have to agree there. I really do. I think that created a full momentum swing. I don't really know why they would challenge that, honestly. But the funny thing about goaltender interference is that it's like, even if the refs did talk about it, it's not like you look to see if it went over the line or something concrete like that. It's an opinion. So if you don't like the ref's opinion, go ask someone else. And, oftentimes it's a 50-50. Like, I laughed so hard in one of the segments in a couple of games ago, and they were saying how forwards seem to be doing such a great job avoiding goalies because the league has made it, there's a clearer understanding of the goalie interference rule. I almost spit my water out when I was watching that because no one knows what it is still. And the fact that they challenged that proves it to me. I couldn't imagine doing that. Like, could you imagine doing that last year or the year before with the power play we have? But I mean, I think you should have enough confidence in your team that goal wouldn't have killed you, and they just would have, moved on. I think it set the wrong message to even bother challenging, let alone whether you win it or lose it. Have a little faith in your hockey club. They've been playing a great series up till then, and that only made it a tie game. See what they're made of. Now we don't know, and I think really that did turn the series around. I agree with you 100%.
All right, Michael, you said intimidation is not a factor in hockey. It doesn't even exist. There's no such thing as the word intimidation in the dictionary.
How do I mute you?
Yet,
The lies.
Yet, I believe that part of the reason that challenge happened is because the Kings were not intimidated by the Oilers' power play whatsoever. So call me crazy, Michael, but I believe that challenge might have cost LA the series.
I mean, yeah, I'm actually surprised you add the series part in there. I'll just call you crazy based on that alone. I mean, I was just talking about the Knights and the Minnesota Wild. I mean, you play the games. You got to play the games. There's no, who cares? It's one game, right? Like, if it's first two games, right? The Oilers made some poor coaching decisions. If the Oilers end up losing the series, then we can say, yeah. I mean, if the Oilers lose the series, you say that it's those coaching decisions in the first two games. All right, carry on.
Roxy Mama in the chat, the ever intimidating mute threat. All right, so intimidation doesn't exist in hockey, but it exists on Oilers Live. Thanks for that one, Mama. That was a good one. All right, so Lotzi, Michael says momentum and intimidation don't even exist in the human language. Call me crazy. Michael just said, screw it, I'm out of here. Call me crazy, but I think that challenge might have cost LA the series.
So there's no denying that was a stupid challenge. Like, there was nothing that was even remotely close to goaltender interference there. And it was dumb to put the Oilers on the power play at that time. I totally agree with what Josh was saying. You've got to put some trust in your team that they're going to battle through in that situation and find a way to win that game. Tie game. Let's play some hockey. But I have to call you crazy because momentum is fickle, right? I think this is how I would phrase it. If the Kings do lose the series, they'll look back at that moment as a big fumble. But there's still up to 4 games left in this series. And like, we've seen the momentum go back and forth, flip-flopping like a fish in the first 3 games of the series. There's still potentially 4 left. This thing could take all sorts of twists and turns in the next 4 games. And the way the games have played out so far, momentum is going period to period, let alone game to game. So, yeah, momentum is very squarely in the Oilers' favor right now. But that we could be talking a different tune, or we could be saying a different story by the end of the first period tomorrow night. You never know. So I'll call you crazy for that reason on the technicality of words there.
All right, sounds good. All right, Patrick, you've waited all this time. You've heard everybody else. Call me crazy, but I think that challenge might have just cost LA the series.
I have to call you crazy for the same reason that everyone else called you crazy. It was the wording that you used. It has the potential to turn the series for the Edmonton Oilers, and it was a huge turning point because it got Edmonton back into it. But yeah, like, we've seen the Kings almost blow game 1. Game 2 was really the only one. Well, I guess Edmonton made it 3-2 in game 2 as well. So the Kings nearly did it twice, and the Oilers managed to come back. It went back and forth. So momentum, the game swings have been all over the place, but it was huge because it got the Oilers back in the series. It gave them the potential to win this series. If that doesn't happen, maybe the Kings take that one. They're up 3-0, and we're just talking probably mostly about next year at this podcast. But they got it. It was a stupid challenge by the Kings. Great for the Oilers, and we got a series now.
I like it. I like it. Michael, I don't know where you went there. You disappeared, but the only thing you missed was Ryan L. Lotsberg III said that this thing was going 9 games. It's so close. Alrighty. So let's talk about the series a little more. I like that go around. I got one more. I have been on Angel. Listen closely. I've been on the Kings bandwagon for months. You guys have all heard me say it. I've said that the Oilers have been potentially set up for a first round exit this year. The Kings are better. They're better coached. The Oilers are older, slower, and in my opinion, not as good of a team as they were last year. I said it on the Hangout when I was a guest there on Edmonton Sports Talk. I'm not sure I said it here, but I will right now. I believe that the home team wins every game this series. I really think that that's how this thing was going to play out, and so far it has. So, call me crazy. We'll go in opposite order this time. Call me crazy, Patrick. But whoever wins the first road game in this series wins the series.
I could agree with that assessment, especially with how the series, like you said, has gone so far with the home team winning, and LA's got a lot of momentum at home. The Oilers, as we know, they almost came back in the Stanley Cup Finals, largely in part to having that home ice and how the crowd really urged them on and stuff too. So, yeah, I mean, if you're going to win this series, you're going to have to win on the road, and first team that do that is going to have a big advantage, especially if the Oilers can win tomorrow night, make this a best of 3. They definitely got to win on the road because 2 of the final 3 are in LA. So, yeah, I agree.
Well, Lotsy, they say that, what's that famous saying? You haven't lost a series till you lose one at home.
Yeah, you're never in trouble.
Call me crazy, but I think whoever loses the first game at home loses the series.
I'd have to agree with that. Like the Kings already have home ice advantage, so if it goes as you suggested and the home team wins every game, then the Kings are good, right? If the Oilers are going to win, they have to win one on the road, and if the Kings win one on the road, then they're sailing, right? They're living it up if they win a road game. So yeah, I'd have to agree with that.
Michael, call me crazy, but the first one to win a road game is going to win this series.
Yeah, I mean it's the same every year. Every series doesn't start till a road game is won. So they got to win on the road if they're going to win. And right now everything's pointing in the Kings' favor. Oilers still got to win tomorrow night. Like this is or tonight in Atlantic Canada. Still lots. You hope there's lots of series left. I think if this game does go 7, though, I think it plays into the Oilers more so than the Kings.
Yeah, that'll agree with you. I think they're already short on forwards. They're short on defense. I kissed Angel's butt a few minutes ago. Now I'm going to do the opposite. I think if big F here, if the Kings get past this round, that was their Stanley Cup. They wanted to beat the Oilers, and they will get swept in the second round. But maybe that's another topic. Josh, call me crazy, but the first one to win a road game is going to win this series.
Okay, you just drop a bombshell like the Kings are just going to get swept in the second round. But anyway, back to what we were talking about, a regularly scheduled program.
You can speak to both.
Whatever.
You can speak to both.
I would like to defend you on your phrasing of the last question. The things that we talked about that got the Oilers back in this series are things that happened after that goal. We got our 5th goal against Kemper. It's huge that we got more than 4. That wouldn't have happened had they not challenged. Our power play, do we feel as good about it if it only got 1 goal instead of 2? So I think that all the things that happened after that challenge are what we had talked about as positives that have gotten us back in the series. So I think you could look at that as a moment that lost the series. I still want to stand up for Dash and his word.
That's why you're my favorite.
It's all coming together for the rest of us here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know it shows on the screen as they're in different rooms, but I assure you that Josh's nose is firmly up Dash's ass right now.
It's hard being right. It's hard being right all the time, isn't it, Josh?
I tell you what,
it smells like shit, though. All right, go ahead.
But I agree with everyone about the road. Like it's one of those things. And like I said, especially this year, the home crowds have been amazing all across the league. It's been so fun to experience those. They have the decibel meters out at some of the rinks, and it is rocking in there. I couldn't like it's so fun. And like I said, the LA crowd in particular, that was one thing I really took away from the first two games. And what do they only lose 5 games or something all year at home? Like it's it's a tough challenge. If you lose one as the Oilers at home, then you have to go win 2 in LA. I think that's a tall order.
Yeah. Yep, I would agree. All right, I got one more for you guys, and then we'll maybe get into tonight's game if you're Haligonian, or tomorrow game if you're Albertan. This one I'm very, very, very curious to see where it goes. I'm also get your comments in the chat because I feel like this one might start a fire or two. Hold on to your hats, boys. All right. Yes, Pickard is the only goalie. Pickard is the only goalie for the Oilers that has won us a playoff game this year. That said, Skinner's better at home than he is on the road. Skinner is much better in games 4 to 7 than he is in 1 to 3.
Last year,
I don't want Skinner's next start, if he is going to start again, to be back in LA. I think the fans could potentially ruin him. That 4-3 goal was absolutely awful on Pickard. He's not a great positional goalie. He's kind of all reflexes. He reminds me a lot of Rolly in that game. So call me crazy, Josh, but I think Nobby needs to start Stuart Skinner in game 4.
I don't think I can call you crazy.
Best reaction yet.
I don't know.
That sound says a lot.
I was going to say, is there a 6th person on the chat?
Mrs. Tough Call?
Listen, I was watching the Sweet Magnolias. I got distracted for a minute. So I don't think he could make a mistake here. I really don't. Because I think Skinner's going to have to come back for us eventually. And if not right now, when? Right? Like the time is nigh, as Eric Carlson once said. So if you go back with him now, I think you're right. If you put him in LA and it doesn't go well, he's destroyed and plus we've just lost in LA. So, we've lost the series according to all of us, right? So I think if you are going to put him in, I agree. I never really thought about it, but put him in at home. But I don't think it's going to matter because like we've talked about, if we don't shore it up structurally in front of anybody, doesn't matter who's back there, we're not going to win the series. And I think, again, by the time you're 4 games deep, you better have that figured out. So I think whoever starts doesn't have to be like the guy you're going to. It just has to be someone that's going to make the saves that they're supposed to make at this point. Because I think the team is, the team has no choice but to play better in front of whoever it is. So I guess, if you're looking at what's best for the goalies, you maybe put them in at home. I don't know. I'm not in that room, obviously, having those conversations. But based on what you said, I never really gave it much thought. Putting them in LA is probably not a good idea. So if you don't go with him in game 4, then you're probably never going to see him for this series again. So that's the choice kind of you have to make.
Yeah, I think if we don't go back to Skinner here, then we might as well move on from Stu Skinner. It's that dramatic for me because you're not bringing him back in an LA game. So he plays game 6 at home. If we win the series, he comes back and plays the second series. Fine, so be it. Sorry, Josh, I couldn't get over anything you said after you said that he couldn't make a bad decision because all that just bounced around in my head like an echo chamber because all I wanted to say and blurt out really badly was he can't make a good decision. There isn't really a good choice. So the way they've played. Anyways, Michael, call me crazy, but I think they need to go back to Stu for game 4.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to say, Dash, you're crazy. I'm going to say, Josh, you're equally crazy. And Knobloch's crazy if he goes to Skinner in game 4. I mean, now it's Bob says it in the chat. At this point, it's your crease to lose, right? Like you have nothing to win by putting Skinner in. He's lost 2 games where he didn't play overly well, defense or not. Pickard came in, made some saves when he needed to. Has been the better goalie down the stretch. Like, if you lose tomorrow night with Skinner in net, you're definitely not going to see Skinner ever again, because no fan's ever going to cheer for him again. Like, there's no win putting Skinner in the net. Unless if he has a lights out game, and we know that he won't.
Winning's a win.
Well, winning's a win, but that's like, if he loses, all you're ever going to question is, why did you put Skinner back in net, right? At least if you put Pickard in, this is just like they should have done in game 2 and didn't. If you put Pickard in, you can say, well, this is your guy. This is you should have put Skinner in, maybe. I don't know, but it's just like, Pickard's your backup, right? Like, if he goes though, like, then it's just because it was Pickard. But he won the right to play another game. He made the saves when he had to make them. You know what? I don't care what the other podcast says. I know they've had some good scoops, and they're connected, whatever. But I just cannot see them putting Skinner back in net for game 4. Just you got to think the players have lost a little bit of trust in him. The crazy look on his face when he's smiling at the fans cheering him on in LA. There's nothing. He's not mentally ready for it. He hasn't been for a little while now. Yeah, I just hope that this is not a conversation we have tomorrow. I will go this far to say, if Skinner's in net tomorrow, then the series is over. That's where I'll go with that. All right, wow. I'll pass it from there.
Okay, you know what? I'll build on that. If he starts Skinner tomorrow and the series is over and we lose, that could be Knobloch's job as well. You might as well open the door for Coach Q at that time. So, this has been divisive. I mean, I got a crazy and a not crazy. The chat seems to be mostly thinking that Skinner should play. I've got a few people defending me in there, though. I just think if Pickard's in and we win, I don't know when Stu plays again. And we can't take a backup goalie to the Stanley Cup final. Ryan, call me crazy, but they got to start Skinner next game.
Mostly because I know, I love doing it. I am going to call you crazy here. And the reason I say that is Pickard won you the game, right? It's very simple. Why fix something that won you a hockey game? It was a huge game. Pickard stepped up and got the job done. Was it the prettiest of wins? No. Was it a perfect goaltending performance? Absolutely not. But he got the job done. Stu Skinner has not so far. And going back to what Michael said about those 2 goals from Kempe and Fiala earlier in the show, they're both deflected by Oilers sticks like almost immediately after they were released. So like those are tough saves. It's like I'm kind of giving them a pass on those 2. Like the only one I really didn't like was the Trevor Moore one-handed goal. Like we should have had that one, but that's 1 out of 4, right? Aside from that, I thought Pickard was pretty good. So I don't know why we're going to try to. Like you go with the hot hand, right? You go with the guy that won you a game in the playoffs. Like going back to Stu, just now you're taking confidence away from Pickard. I think it's a slap in the face to Pickard if you go back to Stu right now. if Pickard was coming off of a loss where he gave up 6 goals, might be a different story. But he's coming off a win where he played decently well and got the job done. And Stu had a concussion, right? They don't just magically heal. Like he did take a couple of weeks off there, but he could still be feeling some lingering effects from that. And I don't know what his deal is, but he's not at 100%. So we need this game. So I feel more confident in Pickard right now, and he won you the game last game, so that's my choice.
There's a lot been said about the team plays better in front of Pickard. I don't know if that's a truth, a red herring, or what. I've played enough hockey to know that if I don't trust my goalie, I play harder. I know when I play defense in particular, and I think my goalie, and I trust my goalie is going to either stop a puck or play a puck, it's because I trust them, not because I don't. I kind of feel, you know what? I look back to David Ayres. Do you guys remember David Ayres, the emergency backup goalie for Carolina, the Zamboni driver from Toronto, if you will? That was the best period. That third period by the Canes was the best defensive period of hockey ever played in the history of the NHL. They suppressed everything. Everything. Why? Because they didn't trust that goalie a lick. And I kind of feel like that's how we play in front of Pickard. Wake up, Patrick. It's your turn. Call me crazy. But I think they got to start Stu next game.
You're crazy. The Oilers would be playing their backup goaltender if they have Calvin Pickard in for the Stanley Cup playoffs, but this regular season, they've gone as far as Calvin Pickard will take them. He has been the better goaltender this year. Stuart Skinner, I like the guy. I want the guy to succeed, but Calvin Pickard has been the better goaltender this year. We were all pretty much in agreement that Calvin Pickard should have started game 1. When they didn't go with him, he should have started game 2. Finally, he was in for game 3. And shock of all shocks, they finally won game 3. Calvin Pickard has delivered for this team. And you know what? I think Bob was mentioning it in the chat there with Anton Hudobin. It's maybe not a perfect example. Hudobin probably had some more time as a number 1, but still, I think the Oilers, if they are successful this year, it's probably not going to be on the back of Stuart Skinner. It's going to be on the back of Calvin Pickard. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Stu suddenly catches fire and he's the amazing goaltender that he was last year, but nothing as of late. And he's been dealing with a concussion. He certainly has excuses, but nothing of late has shown me that Stuart Skinner is the guy that's going to take the Oilers all the way this year. I think they're going as far as Calvin Pickard has taken them. He got the win for them last night, and I think he deserves the crease until he shows us that he doesn't deserve it anymore.
And that's a wrap. Most of you think I'm crazy, other than Josh, who's usually right. All right, let's go around the horn. I can give back to you, Michael, for the driver's seat if you want, but ultimately we probably just want to talk about what we think is going to happen in Game 4 briefly and call it a night. Is that true, or what do you want to do here?
Yeah, no, that's that works for me. I think little predictions and everything as we prepare ourselves for the biggest game of the Oilers season so far. Game 4, the swing game.
So do you guys all think Pickard is starting Game 4? I believe in what I said. I think Skinner's starting.
I mean,
I have a feeling Pickard or Skinner starts too.
Do you think Skinner starts?
It's the only piece of information we've heard pertaining to that topic so far has been that Skinner is starting. But I'm happy to wait till tomorrow to react.
I don't agree with it at all, but I think he is.
Yeah, I don't think it's the right choice, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting, hey?
I mean, the only reason I'd think Pickard would start Game 4 is that I thought Pickard might start Game 2 and Oblak started Skinner, and look what happened. So if Knobloch's at home tonight thinking about that, thinking maybe I should have started Pickard for game 2, then he might start Pickard for game 4. And I just don't get why you wouldn't go win and you're in at this stage. You got 2 guys that, Skinner, the only thing Skinner's running on is last year's performance, because he's certainly not running off of like his past couple months, right? Like there's no, you're not going off of recent history. You're going off of former history.
The reason winning you're in doesn't work for me is because if Pickard loses game 4, you can't start Skinner in LA. I just think that team and that arena will eat him up.
But if you think he's got to be the guy that takes you all the way, then why can't you start him in LA? Like either you can start him in LA or you can't start him anywhere. Like he's got to be your guy.
You don't start him in LA because you think he's going to win. You started him in LA because you started Pickard in game 3 and he lost. It's because you didn't have any other choice.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. Let's game 4. I think Skinner's starting. I think the home team wins again. I think the Oilers are going to keep doing this, even though Michael says momentum doesn't work and Ryan says it's fickle. I think that it's true and real, and we've got some. For me, I think the keys to the game has got to be Oilers discipline. Got to be Oilers stay out of the bloody box and figure out how to defend that LA Kings speed and close those gaps and hold your blue line. So I don't know if you want me to say a score, but let's go with 5-2 Oilers.
All right. I mean, who's up next? Patrick, go.
For a score, I'll go a little bit different. Go 5-3 Oilers. But oh man, well, we think Stuart Skinner's going to start. You say he's going to hear it in LA, Dash. Like they might be chanting Skinner's name in Rogers Place if he doesn't come in and have a good game tomorrow night. So it might not much matter where he is, but I want Stuart Skinner to succeed. Like this is sounding like I hate Stuart Skinner or something like that. I think he's the goalie of the future, but he's got to figure out whatever has been ailing him this year. And I just have way more confidence in Calvin Pickard right now. So yeah, I'm still picking an Oilers win. I think they've got the momentum going for them. I think they're playing a lot better. They got the power play going a bit, but like you said, Dash, discipline's going to be key. Maybe keeping the Kings off the board on the power play if they get one would be great. Despite an improvement, Kings were still 2 for 2. So getting those guys going, another strong game from Evander Kane, maybe another couple goals from players you weren't expecting to would definitely help here. And, we really haven't seen Connor like explode like Connor yet. So if he could come in and have like a big 4-point game or something like that, I think that could be a big key.
Yeah, he had a 4-point game in the first game. But
well, I guess, yeah. Well,
4-point
period.
Yeah, fair enough. We also need Connor.
Period was pretty explosive.
we need Connor to stop cheating for offense too. He needs a little talk from Steve Yzerman. But anyways, Lotsy.
The keys to the game, I think, for the Oilers, it's gonna just don't get in your own way, right? It's just find a way to defend the rush. Don't make any defensive zone blunders, and I think they're gonna be okay. I'm sitting here debating whether I even want to make a prediction or not. Honestly, maybe I'm being too superstitious, but yeah, I'm just gonna say that I'm hoping for a big Oilers win tomorrow, and we go back to LA tied.
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, it's hard to make a prediction when you don't know who's starting in net. I'll say this. I'll say a couple things. If Skinner does start, if the LA Kings score the first goal, the game's, for me, the Kings win and they win the series. If Skinner starts and the Oilers can start strong, and he gets a moment to kind of collect himself, then we could have a game. But yeah, if that whole thing for me is a big deal. Like it's defense has to be better though. So that's going to be it, and stay out of the box. Another strong performance by Kane would be great. If we can get that, if we could see some of these other players like Frederick step up, then you can't, and no team wants this. You don't want to be having to win every game 7-4, right? Like that's ugly. And, if you're in games like that every single game, it's a bit of a toss up, to be honest with you, who's going to win. The Oilers need a good defensive game. They need to stay out of the box. They need to figure out how to kill a penalty. But I do think the Oilers can win this one. But again, as we said in before Game 3, Oilers got to score first because this team is not doing well from behind so far in this series. Well, they were behind, I guess, a couple times last game, but that early lead really kind of gives them some momentum. Pass it off to Josh.
That's a tough thing to put on a team that's usually a slow starting team.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Usually,
I mean,
Yeah.
to clarify what I meant is, if you're going to start Skinner again this series, I think it has to be tomorrow. I think if you go with Pickard now, then you run him until the end of the series, no matter what, and then reset in round 2 if necessary. I can see you going back to Skinner in round 2, but unless you go back with him tomorrow, then Pickard is your guy for the rest of this series. That's what I meant. So, that's the choice he has to make. Does he want to see Skinner again? So, I'm half and half a little bit, right? I don't have a prediction on who's going to start. I'm going to, as we all will, cheer for everybody, but I'm going to feel a little more comfortable as a fan if Pickard's in the net. As far as the game goes, I mean, expected goals for the series, 6, just over 6 for the Oilers, and like 5.24 something for the Kings. Like, it's just been that kind of series. It reminds me of the Philly Pittsburgh series from like a few years ago when every score was 9-8 or 12-10 or whatever it was. Like, it was just insane. And it was just it was the opposite of a goaltender's duel. And I think that's where we are right now, honestly. Like, that's all we've been talking about.
Mhm.
And it's whatever team is going to be able to I think we're going to keep close to that. It'll be like a 5-3 one way or the other. And I feel like on home ice, it's just one of those series where home ice advantage plays a big role. And so I'm going to put the 5-3 in the Oilers' favor for next game. For today, I guess. I was going to say tomorrow, but it's today. Yeah.
No, it's tomorrow.
It's today. That's our name. Call me crazy, but it's today.
You're
All right.
crazy.
You're crazy.
You and your DeLorean are crazy.
Yeah. All right. Well, big game tomorrow, Game 4, happening in Edmonton. Game 4 is a swing game. I mean, this is huge, right? Like, this is it. I'm kind of curious if anybody, before we take off, and I mean, we're already overtime. Does anybody think that if the Oilers lose tomorrow night, that they can still come back and win this series?
Nope.
Anyone?
Whoever wins the road game wins the
I
series.
can't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's the scary part, right? Like, that's the, Knobloch's got a big decision ahead of him, and he's got some roster decisions to make still, right?
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? I see Stetcher's name coming up in the chat, right? Like, do you play Stetcher? Emberson
No.
played a full 9 minutes in Game 3, right? Do you keep Frederick in? Do you keep Skinner out? I don't know. Like, that's not no matter what you do. If you lose Game 4, then somebody will question something Knobloch did. It's a big, it's a big problem, big challenge, right? team seems to be heading in the right direction now after last game. We'll see.
I mean, this team and the DNA of this team has always been backs up against the wall. This is arguably the first must-win of the season, the entire season.
Yeah.
I think the second. I think Game 3 was a must-win as well.
Well, yeah. I mean,
it's a need to win, not necessarily a must-win. But I know what you're saying.
Yeah. Last game was big, and this one's big as well.
Well, I think they're both, because if you lose last game, you're down 3-0. So how is it different from 3-0 or 3-1? Like, I think 3-0 is worse. So I think they're both equally must wins.
All right.
But
back still up against the wall, which is a good thing for us.
Well, I will tell you this: if LA wins 3 games, the game after that is definitely a must win.
Yeah, elimination games are must wins, 100%.
Yeah, I don't think we need to say those ones are must wins.
That goes with
if you lose, you're out. It's a must win.
Any series any of you guys are like really surprised at right now? Like
Minnesota,
anything
Vegas.
that's which one?
Minnesota,
Vegas,
Vegas.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that
that
would
one's
be
actually
exciting.
more exciting than I thought it would be. I thought that was going to be a snooze fest. That one. Yeah.
Me too.
Washington, Montreal. Anybody surprised at that?
No.
No, I picked Washington in 5. So
Yeah, you did pick Washington in 5. I remember. Any word on Montembeault? I never looked today. Is he going to make it?
I don't know.
I didn't see anything. I don't think we're gonna. We're probably not going to hear much on any injury league wide, right? It's playoffs. All that info gets held pretty close to the vest.
How about Montreal not carrying a third goalie? Like they were one small tweak away from having to put the E-bug in the first round of the playoffs against the President's Trophy team.
He's an Ottawa police officer, I think.
Yeah, I heard that.
Oh man, that would have
Ottawa
been,
or Montreal? Was he an Ottawa police officer?
Yeah, Montreal police officer.
Yeah, same thing.
I am a little surprised at the Ottawa-Toronto series too, like how close it's been, like how like the fact that they're going to overtime every game, because Toronto is
Toronto
the better team.
Yeah,
but they're by far the better team. I know they're Toronto, but
I had to laugh.
Why are you
I took a
surprised,
picture of the screen that Willie Nylander, and it's showing his stats in potentially closing out a series games, and he's got 11 points in 13 games. That's great, but he's 1-11 in those games. And it's
really,
like, oh my goodness, that's insane. And here they just blew another one, right? Is this someone mentioned in the chat? I saw. Is that the start of the Leafs meltdown? And it's pretty funny how a 3-0 lead isn't safe in your mind sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if anybody could blow that, it would be Toronto, wouldn't it? What do you do in that situation? I mean, how does the offseason look if you blow a 3-0 series lead? You've got to think, I don't know, maybe they just fold the team.
Like the Leafs have tried everything. They've tried a young coach and a young GM. They've tried the experienced GM and the old battle-tested old school coach. And
they go out and get Connor McDavid. That's how.
They added more defense. Like, I don't know what you do if you're Toronto. Nothing seems to work.
Yeah,
but we're not there yet.
No, I mean, you got to think they're going to close out this series. I wouldn't, but you wouldn't put it.
I'm not surprised at any outcome of that series, honestly.
No. It's been close. I've been surprised though that the first 2 games of the Florida Tampa Bay series, how much Tampa Bay or Florida dominated
in Tampa.
Yeah,
that's true.
And then Tampa comes around and wins 5-1 on the road today.
Man, that one Yeah.
Road team wins every game in that series.
Yeah, we see that once in a while, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Dallas,
that happens.
Colorado. I thought Colorado would have their way with Dallas, just given how Dallas was looking down the stretch. But Dallas is clearly back to being Dallas. I mean, Dash, I think you picked them for the Stanley Cup this year, right?
Yeah, still my pick.
They're a good team. You shouldn't be too surprised. I just thought that Colorado with the pickups and everything, they'd be a good series though.
Mhm.
Very good series. And then Carolina, New Jersey. I know we're all at the edge of our seat on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Slow the chat right down. Let's
Yeah.
talk
It's a
Carolina.
comfy seat.
Carolina. Watch Carolina. I've watched most of the games this year. I like that series. Carolina's fun to watch. I like them.
Oh,
Well,
yeah?
you get a lot of opportunity to watch them because New Jersey can barely touch the puck.
Yeah, that is one of the series that it's been interesting. It hasn't been as it just seems strangely wide open for how one-sided it seems to be. It's not as tight checking. It's not as heavy physicality. It seems it's a little bit more wide open. I don't know. It's funny hockey.
Hurricane
Who'd you
hockey.
take, Josh? Who'd you take for the Stanley Cup at the beginning of the season? Do you remember?
Oh.
Probably the Oilers.
I would have to say that at the beginning of the season, I took the Oilers. I'm pretty sure I did, but I can't remember.
I mean, I'm kind of curious. Anybody? I mean, the playoffs just like they're the great equalizer. It seems, right? Like this Stanley Cup playoffs are so unbelievable. And it's so hard to win a cup. I mean, it's just look at we're talking about how the officiating changes, how the game gets harder, everything about it. Anybody surprised by anybody like that? You think like you want to change who you think will win the cup after we're roughly in game 4. I think we've hit game 4 for every series now, except for, Winnipeg and St. Louis still have to play their game 4, but Tampa and Florida. Anybody change? You're still going Dallas?
I'm still going Dallas, but I also said that if the Oilers get past the first round, they'll go all the way.
All right. That's a big deal. Lotsy?
I think it's honestly so wide open this year. Like the top teams aren't necessarily teams you think would be top teams. Like Winnipeg winning the President's Trophy, Winnipeg won the President's Trophy, and the Capitals won the East. Right? Those aren't teams you expected to win their conferences. And there's lots of teams that are kind of in that meaty middle. Like the Oilers are in the Cup Finals last year, but they're in that meaty middle cluster right now. Dallas is a team that could potentially go. I see some flaws in their defense, and if Jason Robertson's not back, it's like I see some issues that Dallas has to overcome. But they could go all the way for all I know. Colorado could as well. Vegas could. Minnesota's got a good team, like a surprisingly good team, based on the fact they have $14 million in dead cap space with buyouts, right? Like that's kind of the biggest surprise of the first round so far for me is that they're 2-2 with Vegas based on that. But they got a good core developing there, and it's only getting younger and better as time goes along. So like look out for them in the future. But who knows? Maybe they go on a deep run. I mean, Dash and I both predicted the Kings in this series. They could get by the Oilers if they can lock it down. You never know, right? In the East, Tampa, Florida, they've both been there, done that. Toronto won their division, right? Like Carolina has been on many deep runs. I like New Jersey's team a lot more than other people do, but I also realize they've got some injuries that may prevent them from going on any kind of a run. Washington's played at a really high level. Montreal, I think they're mostly just excited to be here, but you never know. They got some skill and they got some good young players there too. So yeah, that's my way of saying
Ovi continues to contribute, right? Like, what was the stat? Like in his last so many games, he's never gone more than 2 games without a goal. Like, or one game, sorry. Ovi.
Sorry, who's this? Ovi?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's been like 40 games, and he's not gone more than one game without a goal.
Wow.
Like
Yeah,
that's
it's crazy.
I mean, it's unreal. And he scoring the overtime winner, I think, is just one of those things that propels a team to different heights, right? Like it's something people get behind, like Landeskog scoring today. Like, teams get behind that stuff all the time. It's just,
like harmonicas in the anthem.
Like harmonicas in the anthem.
The Kings are 4-0 and have scored 19 goals in those 4 games. Just saying.
Yeah. It's crazy. But, I don't know why I'm surprised, but every year the Stanley Cup final, the playoffs start, and I'm glued to this set, like every chance I get. I might not watch like all 3 periods of a hockey game, but the TV's on hockey all the time, and I'm watching, I'm enjoying it, I'm loving it, I'm yelling at the TV, even if it's not my team. It's been great. I love watching it. So much excitement. I think this is the NHL has to find a better way to market this onto a different topic. Like this is where even the NBA panel, right? Like they were loving the playoffs, right? Like last year. This is the best sport in my mind for playoffs than any other sport. Like it's so tough, it's so hard, it's fast, it's good. Guys play like with unbelievable injuries. It's grueling. It's its own season.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I love it. The NHL really has to do a better job of marketing this game. This could propel if they got the playoffs in front of every non-hockey fan. I just feel like that'd be the winner. I'd be curious if they can get the stats on how many people have started watching NHL hockey because of the playoffs. So much fun, right? There's no other hockey like it.
Every other sport, the playoffs are the same as the regular season. It seems.
Yeah.
The games have the same intensity. They're not unentertaining, but there's nothing unique about the playoffs. Whereas in the NHL, like Louis said it best in the last game, he said, there's 5 hits already that in the regular season, 3 of them would have started a fight. And in the playoffs, you just get up and you keep playing. And that's what's exciting about it. You just get up and you keep playing because you have no choice but to do it. And, the energy level, it just gets ramped up. It is completely a different season. Like somebody said, it's its own season.
Yeah.
Yeah, like an NBA basketball game doesn't look too different in the playoffs than it does in the regular season. It's like same with NFL football. It doesn't look too much different in the playoffs than in the regular season. Baseball, a lot more energy in the crowd for baseball, right? But maybe the game moves a little bit more slowly because there's a lot more gamesmanship and tactics and strategy going on. But
you don't swing harder and you don't throw harder. You don't run faster. You don't, right?
Yeah, hockey is definitely unique in that regard, where it's almost a whole different game in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. I got one question, and then that's it because I got to get going here. But I just want to know if Angel's grandma is in that harmonic group. That's I know Sandoval sounds Hispanic, but I'm sure it's Korean. That's all I got. That's all I got.
All right. Thank you to everybody that tuned in tonight. Fun night as always. We're gonna try to be back after every game, do a little recap, talk about the next one, set up the next one, talk a little bit of NHL hockey. All those fun things. Hopefully we're talking Oilers hockey for a little while. Until middle of June or whenever the Stanley Cup's done. What's the projected? Anybody know what the projected end date is? I mean, it might be July 1st this year, maybe on Canada Day. I don't know. We'll see.
Might be.
All right. Time for last words. Josh is the last one here, so quickly go around the horn. I got nothing. I'm going to pass to Ryan. Ryan, we're going to go counterclockwise, pass the baton, end with Josh. Everybody have a good night. Make sure you like and subscribe. YouTube.ca/heavyhockey. You can find me on Twitter at Oilers Live. And that's all I got to say. Lots of Europe.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of the outcome of tomorrow's game, I just want to say, like, I mean, Friday night at the Fan Park and being in the Ice District was a fantastic time. I love the way Edmonton lights up and comes together for the playoffs and every spring, and it's just fills me with pride. So, yeah, looking forward to getting to do that again tomorrow night, and hoping for another fun crowd and another wicked game tomorrow night. And got a little something cooking on. We were talking about the penalty kill earlier. I got a little something cooking for an article tomorrow about what's going on with the Oilers PK and something the Kings are doing on their power play to take advantage of some Oilers stuff that they're doing. So look out for that tomorrow. And with that, I'll pass it on to the next guy.
Thank you, Lotzi. I just want to say, as always, thank you to everybody in the chat, especially Bob. Some great points tonight. It was great doing my
It
first.
sounded genuine.
Yeah.
It sounded genuine.
It was genuine. Bob knows it's genuine. It was great doing my first podcast with you, Josh. Great to have you back, Dash. As always, Michael, Orion. Great. Love doing the show with you guys. Yeah, I was a little bit quieter tonight. It's catching up to me, all these late nights, but I'm glad I can sleep in tomorrow. That was the only good thing about Game 3 was you could sleep in the next day. But yeah, hopefully it's a good one tomorrow night. Game 4, get this one tied up, and hopefully Calvin Pickard starts. That's all I'm going to say. Have a great night, everyone.
All right, for my last word, I'm just going to give a couple of updates. Patrick finished 7th out of 200 in his final table in the online poker tournament. He's been playing this entire episode. Congratulations on 7th, Patrick.
I was in 6th.
All right.
Don't sell me short, man.
Angel replied his grandma was not in the harmonic group because she's also in prison. And Bob is still at the Ball Diamonds. I believe he's stuck in the dugout somewhere. So there's your updates. And Josh, always a pleasure. I really, really enjoy any time that we're on together. I miss you. I love you. And to the rest of you Yahoos, we'll maybe see you next time.
And Josh, you know the drill. Say goodnight when you're done. And we'll put out the end credits. You're up. I'm on mute.
I've had a blast here. The Heavy Hockey family, it's a family. It's been such a great thing to be a part of. And what I really like is all the comments in the chat. And we have regular people that we look forward to in our chat group. You guys have really made it worthwhile for us to be part of this. Really enjoying myself. I will be on again at some point in the first round early next week to do my own show on the Heavy Hockey Network about some of the, suspensions and some of the more dangerous incidents and controversial plays. I'll be doing the show on that, so make sure you watch for that. Dash, you're not crazy. Don't let anyone tell you any different. You're not crazy.
According to Jeff in the chat, I'm always right.
And hopefully I come back on again here in short order, talking about an Oilers win. Play La Bamba, baby, and good night.
Oilers Live.